Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the weekly commodities roundup. We've had a very quiet week for precious metals, especially after reports that the second stimulus package has been put on hold. With fair reason, given that the Democrats would not want President Trump to have a scoring point, especially ahead of the elections. So this means that we are looking at another week of range bound movement and volatility for both gold and silver as the focus shifts to the results on the 3rd of November. Oil prices did have a decent amount of activity, but the bias was inclined towards the lower side, especially after the JMMC meeting, which remained inconclusive, and comments from OPEC members, especially Russia, that the oil market recovery remains strong and that the output curbs, the output cuts by the OPEC, which are scheduled until January 2021, might be eased much earlier. So that is likely something which had a potential negative impact on prices. Natural gas continued to rally significantly, especially driven by speculative demand. And as we step ahead into the demand season, I think weather forecasts are going to play a very important role in how the trend in natural gas develops. So that's something to keep an eye out for starting the coming week. Base metals also remained active, with most of the performance coming in from zinc and nickel. We've been bullish on zinc, and we did see a significant amount of rally after the technical breakout above the resistance at 200. From a short-term perspective, breaking that level has serious implications for the trend in zinc, which means that we are looking at prices to go significantly higher over the next 2 to 3 months. Nickel prices did rally and test our targets at 1180, and thereafter we saw some amount of profit booking, due to which prices came down to almost 1160. We are expecting this minor corrective move to continue, which might see nickel prices come down by another 20 or 25 points. But again, from a short-term perspective, this provides us with another buy on dips opportunity for nickel. From a long-term perspective, because most of the traders are so focused on intraday and short-term moves, we tend to overlook the bigger picture. Especially we are talking about base metals. We are looking at a period of renewed demand for metals. The basic industry is shifting from fossil fuels. While this has an impact on oil, but the shift from fossil fuels to cleaner energy, if you're looking at electric vehicles or solar energy, means that the demand for base metals will outrun this basic supply that we have. What this means is that for commodities like copper, lead, or nickel or zinc, demand both from US and China as well as globally will outpace supply over the next 1 to 2 years, and that forms the base for our bullish outlook, especially on the leader being nickel in this case, and zinc and copper secondly. So I think it is important that even though it might sound to be a very risky proposition to actually invest into commodities, but with clients who have sufficient amount of patience and margin, we believe that nickel and zinc are going to be key candidates over the next 1 to 2 years. But enough about the long-term picture. Let's move on ahead and see what is in store for next week and how the markets are expected to perform. So it's been an active week for commodities across the board. Precious metals did make an attempt to rally and hold those high levels, but eventually failed as a stimulus package went on hold ahead of the elections. CME gold ended lower by about 0.13%, whereas domestic prices were higher by about 0.5%. Both the international and domestic silver prices saw gains of about 1% higher. Oil prices continue to struggle as the demand remained low, and Monday's OPEC's JMMC meeting concluded that the output cuts would remain intact until January 2021, but the basic idea was that the oil market continued to remain on a path of recovery. So the rollback of those output cuts could actually happen earlier than January. WTI oil lost almost 3% on NYMEX, whereas the MCX contract were down by about 2%. Natural gas continued to extend its stellar rally, with international prices gaining almost 5.5%, whereas the MCX contract was higher by about 6% each. Base metals also collectively ended the week on a positive note. Copper spiked almost 2% on LME, whereas domestic prices were higher by about 3%. Also important to note that the sharp spike which we saw in copper prices on Friday evening ahead of the close was because of the contract rollover. So possibly almost 1% of gain was due to that impact. Nickel prices continued to remain positive, but again, once we saw that prices did approach our level of 1180 and corrected from there back to 1160 odd levels. LME nickel was down by about 0.5%, whereas domestic prices were higher by about 0.5%. Zinc extended gains on LME with a 4%, nearly 5% gain on LME, and about a 7% rally on MCX. The dollar index ended lower by about a percentage, whereas USD INR weakened by about 0.5% last week. On the data releases front, we have the regular set of events scheduled in the coming week, with the most important being the preliminary US GDP for the third quarter, which is due on Thursday at 6 p.m. US trade balance is also scheduled on Wednesday, which could also possibly have an impact on precious metals. But keeping aside the entire data pointers, I think commodities as a whole should remain confined to a range and probably have a very quiet week, given that we will not be having any developments on the stimulus package front, and the entire focus will be on the US elections, which are scheduled on US November 3rd or 4th. On to the technical outlook. Like I said, we are clearly looking for another very steady week for precious metals, especially gold. With the Republicans and Democrats failing to agree on the second stimulus package, so we are not expecting a lot of action in gold. Along with this point, it's also quite obvious that the Democrats will want to delay the package as long as possible, and especially given that we just have a week left. This is in a way to prevent Trump from gaining any scoring point ahead of those the key election days. Technically, as we can see from the chart, gold prices continue to remain below the key resistance level of 51,150 to 51,450, whereas your supports on the lower side should be around 50,250. I think the basic strategy this week would be a very simple one, where we'll be selling near those resistances and buying near those supports, a basic range trading setup. I think also another key thing which you want to keep in mind is to keep the dollar index, because given the absence of any key catalysts available, I think prices should be entirely following your US equity markets or your dollar index as a whole. Technically, silver prices will also remain confined to the current range, with resistances at 63,000 and then higher at 63,950. Whereas the supports are expected to come in between 61,750 to 400. See, in case of precious metals, I think it is important to keep track of international prices as well as domestic prices. So just to put things into perspective, in case of gold, the most important level which you want to watch out for is $1,940, above which we expect that short to medium term momentum to actually pick up and push prices to $2,000 and then progressively higher to 2,080, possibly over the next 1 or 2 months. In case of silver, immediate resistance or the key breakout level is at 25.35, breaking which we are expecting it to rally to $28 to $30 in the near future. And like I said, once we have that potential breakout, silver will clearly be the outperformer in case of if you are comparing both the metals, given that a lot of buying is already moving into gold and silver has been lagging behind significantly over the last couple of years. Moving on to your oil prices, for the last 4 months, the oil market has essentially, stayed still, waiting for news whether the coronavirus is going to get better or worse, and whether government lockdowns will be extended, and whether or when and how the global economy will be recovering, going ahead. I think the upcoming US presidential election is also adding a lot of uncertainty into the market, and will be crucial when we are dealing with the short-term picture. So we'll just try to analyze the situation very briefly. The first one, a Trump re-election would mean positive for the economy as he opposes shutdowns and supports less regulation and taxes, along with very easy policies related to oil production companies or drilling activities in the US. So that would eventually mean that oil production will continue to keep on increasing, at least in the US, which could have a potential negative impact in the medium to long term. Secondly, a Biden victory would also mean positive short term for the economy, but it could be slightly more difficult for your oil prices as he may not support your domestic oil policies. And given his recent campaign, it has also been clear that he wants to move away from fossil fuel production and move into electrification and cleaner energy. He also happens to be a supporter of the climate change deal as well. So both the situations have its own pros and cons, but in brief, that is what we are looking at. On the other hand, OPEC, in its last week meeting and over the course of the previous week, we saw most of the comments aimed at the fact that production cuts have worked the way they intended it to work, and that the demand path is slowly recovering, which means that eventually, or possibly ahead of January 2021, we may see the OPEC roll back on those output curbs, which could once again be very negative for oil prices, given that despite the claims, and as it is quite evident from the prices, we've not seen a pickup in demand. So from a technical standpoint, I think we are looking at a slightly bearish trend for oil prices, and we expect it to test at least 2900 to 2950 in the near term, possibly next week itself, whereas going ahead 2800 to 2750 might be on the cards. Again, unless we don't have anything or any news which could actually change the current situation. On the base metals front, we are bullish on copper prices. So if you look at the daily chart, you can see that we've had a very strong breakout in prices with 2 consecutive closes last week and a subsequent return to validate that resistance turned support for prices, which was at around 530. And the subsequent bounce back is also indicative that we might see higher prices in the coming 1 or 2 weeks. So from a short-term perspective, we are keeping a bullish view for next week and expect prices to rally to 550 to 555 levels. But again, we also need to keep in mind that the entire US election is coming up in the week ahead, which could also keep prices volatile. On the lower side, 530, if broken again, could see prices fall into a deep correction, possibly till 520 to 510. The hourly chart of nickel clearly shows what we were expecting from nickel in the previous week. We had prices rally significantly onto 1180 rupees on MCX, which was one of our price objectives, and thereafter we've seen prices fall back and hold that support around 1160, with potential breakdown coming in late on Friday. These are your November contracts, because the October contracts have already moved into your delivery period. So technically, I think a sustained activity below 1160 should see prices take a dip to 1150 to 1140 in the coming week, which should once again provide a very decent buying opportunity in nickel. Like I said, from a short-term view, 1200 to 1220 is what we are expecting in nickel. So ideally, the scenario should be that once prices fall down to 1150 or 40, that should give us another buying opportunity. Whereas on the upside, a break above 1175 should be seen as an immediate buying opportunity for your nickel, with our price objectives coming in at 1190 to 1200 and then further higher. See, an important point to note here that Biden's election would actually have a significant impact on the base metals market as well, especially in terms of copper, as he has been vouching for a massive electrification plan in the US, which would increase the consumption of copper significantly. So when you talk about base metals, the entire focus is on the demand coming in from China and electric vehicles on a global scale. But I think this project is something which would also have significant implications on copper prices as well. Now again, this is not something for the short or medium term, but in case if this comes if it comes to fruition, or if it actually does happen, we might see copper prices move significantly higher over the long term. Going by a recent report which suggested that in China is planning to use its stimulus to decarbonize, and about 4,000 tons of copper will be required to actually produce 1 gigawatt of electricity in the future. Just going by that stat and looking things at from this perspective, you can actually assume the amount of copper which will be required on a global scale to actually shift from fossil fuels to electricity, or even in terms of electric vehicles as well. Again, like I said, with countries trying to reverse the impact of climate change and actually set up better infrastructure, especially demand from emerging countries as well as your developing countries, both copper, nickel and other minor metals stand to benefit a lot, and this means that prices will head over in only one direction, and that is up. That concludes the technical view for next week. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good trading.